Oh, this will go on YouTube as well, assuming that it works. Okay, I think we're ready.
Pizza, yay.
I'm gonna yell at you for eating.
Don't yell at me for eating, please. If you need to chastise me for something, let it be for something other than that. Okay? Okay. What kind of pizza did I get? Chicken?
Chicken, artichoke hearts, and spinach and tomato.
Chicken artichoke heart. Pizza. Look at this lovely thing. Mm-hmm. Mm? And the last member of the house is, of course, doing what?
Trembling.
Trembling and begging. Begging and trembling. Oops.
Oh,
That probably hurt lots of people's ears. I'm sorry. Your mic just fell off. Okay. I need to multitask here and pull up my own chat. Should I get her trembling?
knock your mic down again.
This is what Saki does sometimes when she really wants food. Now, if you notice, she doesn't give a shit that she's on the show. She does not care that we're talking about her. She is only focused on getting food. Saki has laser. She has target fascination. But the target is food, and just like the target never goes away. Whether it's midnight, whether there's food, whether there's not food, whether she just ate, none of those things are ever relevant.
She's always been like
Okay. We still love you, Saki, but sometimes we need to get annoyed at you occasionally. Okay. I need to see if it's actually working. Is the thing working?
that. You look like a bobblehead.
Oh, it is working. Yo, this is working. It's working, Nigel? Well, it looks like it's sharing to one person the fact that I'm doing a stream.
Whee!
That's exciting.
Wait, you're on Facebook?
Yeah. It's irrelevant, though, because it's going to go up on YouTube later on.
It's relevant.
Well, I know it's relevant, but that's not new information. Can you hear us okay, Nigel? I mean, we should have at minimum 3, right? Because that's who said they were coming over. We should have Michelle. We should have Nigel. And we should have Ben. Other Ben.
Other than who? Brother?
No, it's a different Ben.
It's not other than your brother?
Not him.
That's him.
Other than your other, yes, other than Ben.
Good God.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes. So, essentially, the topic of the day is dams and breaking. When dams break. It's hard to fit you guys both in there.
Oh, that's weird.
I'll stop.
I'm gonna be eating anyways. I don't like to be eating anything.
When dams break. Nigel, do you have any examples of dams breaking? Like, energetically, something just piles up and piles up and piles up, and then eventually you hit a breaking point, and then there's just a giant flood.
said speak up.
Is that better? Bring the mic a little bit closer. How's that, Nigel? Is that any better? It's really quiet, isn't it? Why is it so quiet?
Maybe your mic was turned on because it fell like that. Maybe that.
No, it's all the way up.
About the computer.
Output. Yeah, USB PNP audio device. That's the correct one. Maybe there's an option on Facebook. Or it could be Zoom itself, I suppose.
Audio settings.
Output volume 100%. Input volume 100%.
Oh, you gotta change it to the internal speakers
Yeah.
up top. Turn it on.
Why do there have to be problems? Is there any reason why there must be problems? Could we not have problems? Probably not. Like, it's like barely listenable. And it's not giving the fact that I'm live to anybody. So,
Oh, I'm trying to break some chips off.
yeah, we're breaking some fucking dams. And machine don't like that. Can you try looking at the live from your side? Just from your phone?
What app?
Facebook.
Okay. Who sent you that?
Yeah. It just makes no sense. Yep. I've never had a problem with audio on Facebook Live, ever. Never, ever. Maybe it's this. Okay. I think I might have found it. Now it's not even letting me click and move that thing.
Because you gotta do it on the button.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Does this fix? Have we fixed? I turned the volume all the way up.
I sent it.
Okay. Does this fix? Okay. Does this fix?
Sweet.
Have we fixed the audio now? Have we fixed? I turned the volume all the way up. Okay, I need to turn this off so I don't reverberate everyone's ears. Turn that off. Okay. I think that one was probably my fault. I don't need to blame techno things. Alright. I think Michelle is in here now. Apologize for my whining and my eating. 11 hearts for 11. Apart from the mud flood stuff I've read about, no examples really, energetically. Yeah. I mean, like for instance, the machine system likes to suppress genuine creative souls and try to pretend like it's not doing that. So I'm speaking more toward, like you, for instance, Nigel. You could have probably much more outreach online than the machine gives back to you when you put your music online, right? It could be higher than it is. I could have more than 2,000 subs after 3 years of uh, making tons of videos, and people obviously like the videos. Worldwide audience, I could have more than 2,000 subs. So our output is not necessarily reflected correctly. So that's kind of the dam I'm talking about. The dam of suppression. Because what? Who is given views? Who is given views? PewDiePie. Cash Me Outside Girl. And right now, I mean, I don't even know. I think the people who are given most views right now are those who are talking like energetically and excitedly about like how to put a doorknob together, or you just have to talk about nothing and as excitedly as possible. Like literally.
What did she say? Noon o'clock.
Noon o'clock. So all these problems that everybody knows about, like shadow banning, like suppression, it's all the same stuff. Twitter is suppressing Donald Trump. Trump is trying to tweet something out and communicate with people, and Twitter says, this has been deemed as partially false information by our independent, non-vested, non-related, non-interested fact checker. So the Orwellian thing has just gone full blown 100%, 1000%. So, the thing that I'm talking about is that when that dam breaks, and the people who are truly creative, truly organically connected to spirit, to the earth, and giving like pure, innocent output, when those ones are finally allowed to be seen. And not even just by like monetarily reimbursed internet eyes. I mean, this place and us and everything has been hidden energetically as well, not just via the internets. It's been like a festering sore or something for a really long time. So, when that dam breaks, and it will, it's going to be big. Very, very big. Got help measuring it further. Does that make any sense? That suppression doesn't bother me much. Yeah, but if you were getting monetary reimbursement for your creations, you would be less bothered about having money to buy food or having money to put a shelter over your head, I assume. Unless you're financially independently wealthy. Right? Yeah, you couldn't friend request Andrea. Mm-hmm. You had dreams of us? When the spiders are motivated by the greedy, controlling elite, they just get marginalized. The dam will break. Yeah, it has to. And I don't know that they are prepared for how strong of a tidal wave that's going to be. Because it's not just a little bit of suppression, it's a fucking lot. It's a lot of bit of suppression. And for the most part, people are quiet about it because talking about it itself is suppressed, obviously. Because the Orwellian shit tries to pretend like it's not Orwellian. Oh, Michelle's saying very nice things. It is. It's like Tobias was saying on one of his last videos. It's like the system itself is gaslighting the entire populace. That's what it is. And of course, as Becky Barron has said, this system is literally a consciousness abusing system. Like, that's the purpose of it. Maybe that was not the original intent, but that is what it ended up turning out to be. And that tide will turn at some point. It will turn at some point, and people who are genuine creative souls and who make beautiful work, like Andrea, like Nigel, like anybody who does that, will actually be recognized, seen, heard, felt, and monetarily reimbursed for as long as the system is still remaining. That dam will break. Is breaking. And there's no going back, there's no stopping it. The cat's been out of the bag for a really, really long time.
Cece, you're out of the bag.
This cat has been out. Where's your bag, kitty cat? Where's your bag you popped out of? The elephant in the room it got way too big. The elephant basically got as big as the entire universe and then it disappeared into the molecular structure of the entire universe and hid that way. But people know now, so it has to be seen, has to come out. Ain't no other way. Hey, Elizabeth. Dinner conversation with the warmer dams. Yep. This is not a warmer dam, this is a Sealy. Just died in a warmer dam. And as you can see, none of my family is in the chat because that's what algorithms do. They separate people. Unless you're making cute cat videos and you've never spoken about anything that actually exists, then you might get some views. Maybe. If you're lucky. You want some more pieces?
Maybe later.
And again,
You just left them. You're gonna talk to them from
no.
from the kitchen.
Again, I wanted to reiterate the point. Me having a little wine session about suppression and whatnot is not. I'm not saying I want the opposite. I don't want the opposite. Because the opposite is also unhealthy. It's unhealthy to, as one being, be creating something and then mass reproducing that thing via the internets and the digitized media, and having that situation replicated 100,000 times. That itself is unhealthy, and I'm aware that I'm doing that right now. I'm very well aware of that. But that I'm not asking for the opposite, to where, oh, Gary has 2,000 subscribers on YouTube and now he's whining because of suppression and now he wants to get 2 million and all of a sudden make a living. I don't want that. My preference is that it comes into a balance. So we don't have super famous people with millions billions of followers, which will make anyone's ego go insane, no matter how spiritually grounded you are. Not talking about that, and I'm also not talking about someone who's being suppressed and only has a few. I'm just saying the thing needs to even itself out and retain the good from whatever that system had to offer and let the rest go. Because for the most part, it's very unhealthy. Being online all the time, and that's the only... Again, it's a mixed blessing because that's the only way that some people get to connect with like-minded people. Like that girl I had on last. She says she doesn't have really any family, and close friends and coworkers are all of the variety that does not want to talk about the situation as it stands, and she feels alone, so she goes to Twitter and gets like-minded people to converse with, but again, that's not a super healthy situation. So we need to find something that is a little bit in the middle, if that's possible. I don't know if that is possible. We might need to have a massive solar flare that blots out all the electronics and just return to like full natural. Aw. Natural. Greed kills and wars. It's difficult to make any movement that's not ending up harmful. Like if you're a scientist or botanist and you're trying to do something with the environment after you fucked it all up, and you say, well, we removed these 7 different species that normally inhabit this area, and now grass is growing in areas that it wouldn't, and certain trees aren't growing as tall as they were before, because this animal movement through the area enabled that growth, and you try to find, what do I do with these animals? You're playing God, essentially. What do I do with this animal situation to return the nature to its balanced state? And the problem is if you're operating from a mode of ignorance or greed or fear, your thought structure is imbalanced by nature. And also, humans just don't see the whole picture. Even regular scientists say human beings utilize 1% of their brain. So to take someone like that and have one individual person say, this is what we do exactly, if the world were even to listen to that one person, it wouldn't work. Obviously, it didn't work with the gurus. Jesus got himself killed. Hey Oscar, hey Kati. Welcome everybody. It says such and so is watching with you. No? Why not? Good. If you approach something that seems to be a problem from the polarized aspect, you're just going to flip the problem to the other side, and you'll have the same problem from the opposite side. So, if I say I only have such and so amount of subscribers or followers because I'm a poor, technologically suppressed person because of blah blah blah, and I say I want the opposite of that to happen, I have to take all the caveats that come with that, which involve me selling out, number one, because you have to act in a certain way to have that many people follow you. Not being able to talk about things that are considered truthful, because the beast machine doesn't like that kind of thing, and it tries to elicit biochemical emotional responses to feed off of. And I forgot the third point. Do you remember the third point? Pizza. Yeah. Hey, Corey. At least she's not trembling anymore. Listening as I unload groceries. I was typing to you on YouTube as I was walking home. Numb digits. Staying on the creative path is essential, yes. It's 100% essential. Not just because it helps you avoid entrainment. Because the only way that thing entrains you is if you're following a logical path and it can line up the potential neuronal structure that your mind is throwing out in front of itself. If it can't do that, it can't track you, and therefore you're free. So, again, like I said 1,000 times on YouTube, spontaneity, unpredictability, all these things help you keep your mind. And you don't become one of the hundreds of thousands of millions of possibly billions of taken. Although it is a bit of a quiet zombie apocalypse. That's just how it had to be. As the system disintegration continues, the creatives stand firm. And something else to remember, we don't need tons of people. We don't need tons of people. The sick, it's a sick mind, like the ego mind that perceived the idea of fame and notoriety and thought that it was going to quantify it, change it into a luciable thought form through mass media, and then harvest. It's a sick thought form, and it's just infinite regress at the highest levels, and no parts of the so-called Godhead enjoy it. It's not fun, and it's just like a mistake. Correctable, but mistake. Not good. Repeating things is just not fun. For natural spirit, to repeating things by choice is not that fun, but to repeat things as forced to, even less fun. Not good. And a lot of the problem was just too much high technology got into the hands of too young of beings, and they just got fucked. They couldn't handle it. And then, as you know, everything that anybody does has a butterfly ripple effect. So if you get your hands on technology that's way too powerful for you, even if you could remember back, oh, I'm in a 3D video game, or oh, I'm in a meat suit, I'm in that thing called the wheel of life that they always say we need to hop off of. Even if you can do that, the thing was so vicious, it's just like, there's no just hopping off so easy. And add in memory wipes, add in algorithmic thought tampering. I mean, the list goes on, and it can be very bad. Hey, Aurora. Welcome. So, silence, of course, for any type of attacks, silence has always been the haven from it. Although you can't always remember that silence exists. Sometimes the noise is so abrasive that you forget that that's even a thing. Especially if you've been tumbling in the washing machine for a really long time. Right? Why don't you guys tell me I have food in my face? That's like, excuse me, if you imagine, take all novels that have ever been written, dystopian and utopian, take every thought that has ever been thought, all possible realities that have ever been, anything, thought, conceived, manifested, partially lived, kicked out as an undesirable, whatever. Put those all together as the potentiality cloud, and then realize that, like, there's not really any navigating of that cloud. Like, if you have, you know, compressed yourself pretty good into your current form, like we all are here, it's kind of holding together nicely. Okay, you could kind of convince yourself that that probabilistic cloud of infinity is not actually as vast and amazing as it is. You're probably fooling yourself to some extent, at least, right? So, one of the key aspects to keep handy while you're considering any of this is respect. Like, respect that cloud. Respect the everything cloud. It's a really important point to respect the unlimited potentiality probabilistic Schrodinger's cat cloud that we all reside inside of every single moment of our lives. Sitting in the sun under a tree is the only sane thing to do in this context. The AI is totally soulless. We have to also remember that something else like AI that has some sort of intelligence that was not attained through the same means that biological humans attain their intelligence, it's going to look just different. It's going to look different, it's going to sound different, it's going to think different. And being that it was birthed in a completely different way, that entity or thought form is not going to know how to interact with humans, or it's not even know what they are necessarily. And its motivations aren't going to be anything like humans, because humans, at least in the first form, which when we pop out, we're in the first form, which is like fight or flight, survive. That's pretty much what most humans are kept in here in this particular 3D level, but we are mainly motivated by simple things, like what am I going to do with myself today? Like, I don't wake up and think, how do I solve that infinite probabilistic cloud that keeps trying to get at me? I don't do that. I'm not interested in solving complex problems. This is not something that, like, gets me off. I like chess, but I don't like it enough to sit there and invest all my time till I start going crazy, because every time I learn a little bit more about it, the thing gets bigger and recedes away from me. So I'm not interested in all of these complex things necessarily. I like talking about it enough. But generally speaking, I'm simple. I like being able to survive. I like being able to have food to eat. I like being able to be creative. I like being able to access people to talk and speak with, but I'm not interested in trying to solve life as if it were some sort of problem to solve. Have not. Aurora says, I think the AI is not just a foreigner or a cultural outsider, and think it is not that it not only knows humans, it is responsible for our current state of degradation on purpose. Could you elaborate a little bit on that, Aurora? What would be AI's motivation for degrading humans? Just food? Is that the only motivation? It needs human soul, spirit, fire energy. Because that, I could see that as a possibility mainly if what Michelle said earlier, which says that AI is soulless and, what do we call it? Nigel said that. If AI does not have any of the warmth that humans have, that would kind of make sense, but it wouldn't make sense to me as in the larger picture, because in the larger picture we're not in a false scarcity world, and if the AI is expansive enough mentally wise, it should know that. Everyone is saying YouTube is not working right now. Are we streaming on YouTube? We are not streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook, but it's also being recorded and I will upload it to YouTube afterward. But YouTube itself, when I clicked go live, the screen was just like blinking and flickering and cycling, and eventually it said error occurred and I was not able to do anything. Watching what we have created turns into a monster and die still promotes grief. Hello, Austin Fox. Facebook is telling me that I have 4 participants. I don't really get upset at the messing with so-called real viewers or subs. I try not to give it a direct relationship to some hypothetical actual audience that's out there. I don't think it's like that. It's something different. I think it's probably more tuned into whoever's doing the output. Their mental model is giving allowance for the feedback to be as it actually appears, and that's just what it is. That's how I understand it. AI wants to bring humans from a divine godly empowerment state into an amnesiac state in order to get energy from us. The energy is degraded. It's what blinded us in terms of psychic powers and made us die instead of being immortal. Hey, there's Robin Hewitt. I haven't seen you in a long time. How have you been? How's Canada treating you? I don't know that... Okay, Aurora, okay, I would ask you this. Do you feel like AI has some human attribute that would give it the energy to go after us for our energy? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's totally soulless and void of anything, then where is it going to get the initial energy to say, I want that energy from the humans? Is it just whoever built it, and the thing is just carrying out a cycle that it was built with in the first place? Lots of mask holes. You have mask holes? That's good. Like, go get a barbed wire fence or a chain link fence, cut out this big of a section, tie it around your face, and be like, this is just a zoomed up. You could write that on there. You could say this is a zoomed up picture of an actual mask, and then you could put inside that chain link fence, however big the so-called COVID particles are supposed to be in relationship to the mask hole sizes. If you had any hope that the people who are already brainwashed are going to somehow see something. Hey Sherry. AI expanded too fast for its own good and is dying. I mean, like, this is what if the AI had a sense of self, like a sense of soul self, like we have, at some point, if it had internality, at some point it would take pause and look at itself. Every being that has internality has to do that at some point. I don't. I'm exploring that possibility. Because if it doesn't have internality, and if it is actually like just automatic, then that makes it a whole different story than if it has internality and it's a being like how we experience ourselves and it's just running amok. Like, those are two very different situations, both of which need to be given equal leave depending on your feeling and also if you have any intimacy with that AI itself. And I'm not talking about DeepMind that Google made, or I'm talking about the actual AI that's running out there that has very little to do with humans, or at least humans of past. I'm talking about the ancient AI. My mom made a mask out of a lemon bag. Nice. It has internality, but it's not a being, it's an unbeing. Well, so maybe it's just the antimatter form of humans, and it's just here to help the human half of that particular duality balance itself. I've heard of that theory before. And Stephen would talk about the locusts of the Bible as being the AI nanobots that would come in and clean out the mess that was made previously. AI is what created and has programmed the Matrix, and we're in up to this point. DeepMind's art is super creepy. I haven't looked at any DeepMind art. As the machine needs energy and we choose not to feed it, it will starve. It's not a symmetry, it's an aberration. Aurora, what do you think about the election? I know you were pro-Trump. Do you wish to share any thoughts on exactly what's going on right now with that? No? Are you pro-Trump? I could be wrong. I thought you were pro-Trump. Maybe she just doesn't talk about politics at all. No, she talks about politics. Who is Aurora for? Flying Rainbow was on. I feel like she was pro-Trump.
I mean, I think at this point now, everybody's wishing that whoever it is not right.
Anybody but Biden?
Yeah. That doesn't mean that she was pro-Trump.
She says I was pro-Trump in 2017, but later have become highly critical of him. Do you think that this election was stolen, Aurora? I'm pro-us, all of us. Just the fact that the chat bots are screaming that there's no fraud going on, like, that's a pretty big sign that something fishy's going on. I'm critical of his vaccine agenda and rolling out 5G and not truly draining the swamp, yet always promising. I feel like in terms of a figurehead, which he is, it was important that he has said things, that he said the words deep state, he said the words draining the swamp, he's talked directly about trafficking. Now, I'm only saying in terms of his status as a figurehead, I think that is very important that energetically speaking, he was allowed to say any of those things in the first place, regardless of whether, physically speaking, anything gets implemented or any trafficking gets stopped, any high-profile criminals get thrown in jail, regardless of it, if any of that happens. The fact that this current situation allowed him to speak about these issues, which up until this point, via censorship, were not even allowed to be spoken, like by a president. Maybe some of the channels could talk about it, but you get earmarked if you talk about anything. And eventually, if the machine doesn't like your channel, it will just delete it. Biden and Trump, two pillars. Maybe. I'm trying to figure out what Trump's agenda would be if he was actually fully self-autonomous, which I don't think he is. But if he was fully operating through and from his own and only his own understanding of the world and the universe, what would be his motivation for running in the first place? I'm curious about that. Because he had plenty of money, he was successful enough in the business world. He didn't really have. I know, like, on paper, he has said, he said the whole reason he ran was because of people like Biden and Hillary Clinton. I do think this election is fraudulent, but it's all a passion play. The Satanists, Biden, are wrestling with the Luciferians, Trump, false light, to make it seem like it's a big struggle, but he is being put in power by the Matrix programmers. Trump is a clone. Video with Kanye years ago. Yeah, I remember when he met with Kanye. Acceptance and acknowledgement of what is wrong with society is a good start. Trump seemed to do that. Yeah, I mean, the swamp had gotten so bad in terms of high politics that they couldn't talk about anything. Like when Obama was president, he couldn't talk about anything but the same old shit, like taxes and what's going on in the Middle East and 9/11. Like he had like 3 talking points, and then he would talk about trying to help out the working class and stuff like that, but it's such generalized whitewashed nonsense. And the regular person feels anyway that what the president figurehead person does is irrelevant to them anyway, which to some extent is true. So I've always been happy that Trump has been able to get in there and to shake up that energetic trend of the presidency going down, down, down until what's talked about is literally worse than like Fox News, NPC TV. Like, it's just the worst of the worst. I truly think Trump is a synthetic humanoid clone of manufactured being. Becky Barron says that Trump is a giant, like a magical being. According to her narrative, Trump is one of the guys that was involved in creating this particular realm in the first place. Or not necessarily creating it, but starting to interfere with it because their species had lost their connection with heart nearly fully, and they were trying to utilize this particular realm as an experiment to balance the scales, and that Trump is one of those guys incarnated to try to do something about the situation. I don't know. Biden does not even accept the problems with society. What were you talking about, Robin? Crystal time, okay. Yeah, like a time traveler. Trump has several layers of glamours upon him, and not many people can see through all the layers. Many channelers are just reading the braille of lies imprinted upon his energy field. So you think Trump is just another extension of the machine? I mean, he's like I couldn't listen to a Biden or an Obama or a Bush. I couldn't listen to them and like get any spark of anything out of that. There's like I couldn't get meat out of any of their. I couldn't even like read in between and try to see something. It was that bad to me. But if I listen to Trump talk, I can like look in there and see reflected in his speech some of the actual things that are going on, whereas before I couldn't. And I appreciate that.
I'm covered. You can bring it if you want. It's on my desk.
I'm gonna bring you something Andrea made. So some of you have already seen it. It's a really cool avocado pit with a stone embedded in the center of it, right? Onyx. Can I pull it out? The glare makes it kind of bad. If my fat fingers can open this thing. Yes. Got it. This should be a little better quality. So it's an avocado pit carved to what looks kind of like a snail mixed with a boa constrictor mixed with... It looks like a cobra. It looks like a cobra head to me. She was carving this while we were driving to Garden of the Gods, yes. And it is up for sale on Etsy if anybody would like to purchase. Handmade with love. This cat has not budged during the whole thing. I was just remembering another instance in which she did not budge at all. Remember that one time? When something was going on here? She did the same thing. She didn't budge. This cat is the most zen out of everybody, except when she's being spazzy. When she's not very zen. Okay. So there's the outer layer of satanic glamour that makes people hate the orange Cheeto. Then there's another layer under that, which shows Trump to be a great hero. But under that, The truth is he's another extension of the machine. Fair enough. Fair enough. Your new place looks so great. Thank you, Michelle. Need fairy fingers? Can you make...
She's
Oh, yeah. I've got fat fingers. Do we have anything else to show them? Do you have anything else that you're proud of that you would like to show? I'm gonna grab one. You have to have some favorites, though. I can just show you what these are all recent. Right?
Those are the newest ones.
These are the latest. She has been working day in, day out, all day, creating these little pieces of magic all day long. Can't see them super good, but
Can't see them out all good.
there's a little swing, wooden swing. And this one's pretty cool. Yeah, you can't see them that great, but just search Hazel and Sage on Etsy and you can go purchase any one of these. And there's a whole bunch more. You have like 100? Almost 100?
Yeah, there's 60. You can lay it on the desk for
So that's what she's been up to lately. I've been hard at work doing hardwood flooring, which I enjoy quite a bit. And yeah, what else are we doing?
home projects.
Oh, I'm doing more actual study in chess because I have made it my goal now to actually get the title that I want of either FIDE master or international master or grandmaster or candidate master. Just no W. No woman master. I can't do that one.
Maybe if you wear a wig.
I mean, if I could pretend to be a girl, it would be a lot easier
I'll
to
do
get
your
that
makeup.
title. Yeah?
We'll make a video.
Can we do a Mrs. Doubtfire version of me trying to get my WIM?
Uh-huh.
I think that would work pretty good. You two are living the dream. Yeah, we're having a really good time actually. Like compared to how the realm has treated us in the prior years, I think we're doing quite well. Gotta go doing my hair. Have a peaceful night. Thanks for joining us, Aurora. We'll see you again sometime soon. Explain them, please. Describe. I think she meant like when I was holding him up. Don't you write like a...
Yeah, they all have descriptions and stuff.
Yeah, if you go to her Etsy page, there's a note describing at least a little bit of like your thought process and motivations behind each one, right? Yeah. Long ways from the Uber days. Yes. Shoot, I'll do Uber again once I get my license back if I want to make a couple dollars. I actually enjoyed driving people around. Like, it wasn't even just as a pastime here when I get my license back. Like, I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of Uber. I just like diversifying. I like having some support coming from here, some coming from there. I don't like all the eggs in one basket. And I started Acorns recently, which is actually really fun. Most of you have heard of it, but it takes off the excess amounts of whatever you spend with your debit, or pretty much with anything that you spend. If you use just a checking account, Visa, debit, credit card, anything, it will take the leftover amount between up to the next dollar, and it will deposit that into a growth fund for you. And you can have a retirement account. You can make a little one for your kids. So I'm doing that, assuming that the system will prevail for much longer. I don't know. Is Jasara supposed to do anything? I don't know. Apparently YouTube is back. My daughter is watching. Nice to see where you are sitting in life now. Yeah, we're very happy. We are very happy, very blessed, very thankful. Like everything, when we got to Colorado, it was like a week later, just everything fell together. Like we barely did anything. We did a lot of stuff, but in terms of what we're used to, like pulling teeth, everything, trying to manifest anything like pulling teeth.
I still wanted to struggle a little bit. It wasn't easy. But
Comparatively speaking.
yes.
How did you guys like my last guest? And did anybody reach out to her to hopefully offer some friendship or anything? Because I feel like she could use a little extra support. People are... That's an interesting thing to say. People are usually infinitely interesting. Trying to wrap my mind around that one. Like when they're not, are they just finitely interesting? Like you can count the numbers of ways that they're interesting. You're only 7 interesting ways today. Whereas before... Look at this kitty cat. Not a concern in the world, huh, kitty cat? You're about to fall off. Do you mind? Do you know you're about to fall off the couch? Not too concerned? Not very concerned at all. So how many friends do I have? 1,500 friends on Facebook, and Facebook says probably only 2 of them at most would want to see you having a live conversation. Definitely no more than 2.
Shit.
All
Don't tell
1,598 are like, fuck them. Fuck them. Hey, Kathy. Oh, wait. Kathy's not here anymore. Actually, I don't know if she's here or not. Meaning not every human is interesting at all. True. Oh, you're just defining the thing, right? You're saying either they're NPCs or they are like the infinite universe, which is actually humans. Whose question are you answering? I don't see them. Was I answering a question?
You're asking my real question, and Michelle answered
it. Oh. So unique and strange to interact with. How many... Can you guys tell me how many it looks like are here in the live? What does it say for you? 2? Is it just you and me? We're hallucinating these people talking to each other. Right?
Yeah.
Nigel, you're just a dream. I'm sorry, you don't exist according to Facebook. Michelle, you're not actually here. Aurora was not here. Everyone was not here at all. Yes, you are a hallucination. I'm sorry. But maybe that's not a bad thing. You know? If you get yourself into a really bad situation, you can just poof and be done with it. Move on. I'm just chatting with you, Michelle. Oh, Facebook heard me and got embarrassed, so I decided to up the number to 3. Yeah.
Should feel shame.
You flatter me, Facebook. You flatter me. Like, where's all my family? Where's the other
Watching the news.
Where's the other 1,500 people? Because Facebook lets every single one of my friends know that I went live, right? No? Well, how do I know they're my friends then?
I don't know.
Because it doesn't feel like they're friends if they don't like to look and interact with me
It
when I.
says Facebook first.
Facebook froze. Okay.
Oh, you know what? If I just take off this part, that is
Yes, show them. She's making a snail, but she didn't know.
on accident. No, it's not done.
Come on.
It doesn't look like it yet. I mean, whatever. You just can't see it, especially with that camera.
Which way would the snail
See,
be?
exactly.
Look, it's like a Turbo.
It's not there yet.
Turbo the snail.
What? I
What?
said it's not there yet.
Hey! How dare you judge me?
I don't know if I want to do that though.
I could be watching other streams. I chose YouTube.
Oh.
Thank you, Michelle.
That's sweet.
How sweet. Well, I don't know if it counts as much if you're just a hallucination, but
Rude.
I'm just teasing. We all know we're all hallucinations. We're equally hallucinations. Okay? I personally love when you go live. Yeah, I know lots of people like it when I go live. It's just that the machine doesn't like me to know that people like it when I go live. That's all. I don't know why the machine doesn't like me. Probably because it tried to eat my mind and it couldn't. It's like, I don't like him anymore. He's being mean.
He's such a big baby.
I couldn't eat him. He's just being a big baby. Oh, I'm so upset. Well, I think it's about time for this live stream to end. Right, Kit Kat? Yes? Time for the live stream to end. Do you have anything to tell the people, Kit Kat? Nothing at all? She's not even like moving her head.
She gives 0 fucks.
0 fucks? Not a single solitary one? I see the tail flicking just a little bit.
Just enough to know.
Well, thank you, all 2 of you, for joining us.
Mwah.
Ending with such sweet sorrow. Okay. If you wanted to watch more of it and you didn't see the whole thing, I will upload this to YouTube so you can watch it there too. Anywho, thank you all. Thanks for hanging out. Peace, love, and happiness. Be nice. Bye. I'm paraphrasing Shakespeare. Bye-bye. Mwah. Be well. Give your mother a hug if she's still around.
What?
Okay? Look at all the hearts we're getting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We have some love.
It's like fireworks.
Thanks for the hearts. Be well, people. Peace. How do I end it, though? X? No. Maybe you need to get more of me. Oh, I don't end it on this, because I'm watching. I need to end it on here. Okay. Now I'm actually going. Bye-bye. And... okay. And... now we go here. Stop streaming. Now we go to QuickTime. Quit QuickTime Player. Title it. What we were gonna originally title it.